The battle on the social media is getting bigger and bigger with every action camera release every year. And this is really healthy to put some pressures on the camera manufacturers in order to provide us with the best camera possible they can produce. But we have to be honest, we cannot expect to have a 4,000 US dollars camera worth in only 400 US dollars action camera body. Hello everyone and welcome back to this new video on my channel. This video is not sponsored by DJI, it's not sponsored by Insta360, but I wanted to make it for a long time now, and now it's the perfect time because I've been receiving lots of comments about 8-bit, 10-bit and the specs and the features of the new action cameras that they've been released, whether the GoPro Hero 13 Black, the DJI Action 5 Pro or the upcoming Insta360 Ace Pro 2. So I decided to make this video to share with you what I think about these features, what I think about the 10-bit and the 8-bit. And by the way, I have affiliate links with both of these brands, DJI and Insta360. You can find the affiliate links down below. Because if you would like to add all of these features to a tiny, small, compact, lightweight camera, that will lead to an overheat. And concerning the overheating issues, if you would like to maybe slow it down a little bit on the process of the camera, we have to lower the bitrate. That's what DJI made on the Action 5 Pro. Not to forget that these features require lots of battery, lots of power. That's why also the battle on the action camera world is also projected to the battery life or the runtime that we can do on one single charge of the battery. And in order to make the camera battery last for longer times, they try also to reduce the resolution, the frame rates, the bit rates, and so on. But to be honest, in my opinion, we don't need that huge battery, and we don't need to sacrifice some resolution and some power features on the camera for the sake of having higher running time with the camera with one single battery. Because we all know that once we have an action camera or any other camera, by the way, we try to get a bunch of batteries with us. So for me, this is not a big problem. On another note, there is one other main topic, which is the resolution. We have cameras that can record in 5.3K, others in 4K, and some others in 8K. For me, 5.3K and 8K is not of a big deal because we usually export our footages in 4K or lower, because about 90-95% of the displays of the monitors these days cannot support higher than 4K resolution. So for me, 4K is more than enough. Of course, if we are shooting in 5.3K and 8K, we need more light. So that's for sure. We need more light because the pixels are smaller than in 4K resolution. So we need more light. We cannot use these resolutions in low light situations, in low light scenarios. That's for sure. That will take lots of space on your SD card. That will stress the sensor and the processor a lot to copy the files or to transmit the files to the memory card, that's for sure. And your editing process will be slower because these files will be bigger. You will need more time to process, to edit, and to make your video out to the public. Of course, when you are shooting in 5.3K or 8K, you are able to zoom digitally into your image. But let me know in the comment section below how many times you needed to zoom into an action camera footage. Let me know that in the comment section below, because personally I think this is something that we rarely use. Personally, I used it maybe a few times just to test the cameras, but that's not something that I use on a daily basis when I'm making my videos with action cameras. Anyway, let us talk about the color depth, what is known by 8-bit and 10-bit colors, because this topic is very hot amongst all the consumers of action cameras. I've been seeing that a lot on my comments in the latest videos that I posted on my channel. So let me explain this topic a little bit in an easy way. When we are shooting in 8-bit, we have 256 colors or shades of red, 256 shades of blues, 256 shades of green. That means that we have a total of about 16 million colors. When we are shooting in 10-bit, we have 1024 shades of reds, 1024 shades of blues, 1024 shades of greens. That means that we have over 1 billion color. And of course, when we are shooting in 10-bit, we will not have these bending lines in the sky. And that's because we have more colors, more information in the blue region, as well as the other colors, of course. So by that, you might say 10-bit is way better than 8-bit. That's for sure. And even 12-bit or 14-bit colors are even better than 10-bits. But that's not totally correct and totally right for an action camera. Let us explain that. But before explaining the 10-bit and 8-bit, why I don't think that 10-bit is more beneficial for action cameras than 8-bit, let me just tell you that in 10-bit we have three types of compressions. We have the 444, that we have all the information possible, all the color and brightness information possible. The files are huge and the processing will be very slow, whether on the camera that will lead to overheats, and on the computer that will lead to put lots of stress on your processor. And we don't have the 444 compression on action cameras. I don't even have it on my mirrorless cameras. We have also the 422, which is like we have half the information of the colors possible on the files. We have more compression than the 444, and this is way much used in color grading and so on. We have another format, another compression file, which is the most compressed file in 10-bit, which is 420. We have the quarter of the colors information, and by that the footages are still very nice. And that's what we have on an action camera these days. We don't have the 444, we have whether the 420, and maybe they can have the 422 in D-Log or in the log profile. So now let's get back to the main topic, 10-bit versus 8-bit colors on action cameras. Well, 10 bits, we need more storage, we need more processing, whether on the camera that will lead to some overheat in some scenarios, some cases, and we need lots of processing on the computer. And to get the most out of the 10-bit footages, we have to shoot in log or flat profile and color grade the footages later on in post. But the question is, how many times you need the 10-bit colors in your videos? Are you gonna make a Netflix series with an action camera? Do you really need to go to color grade your footages? Do you really need to put lots of effort and time to post-process your footages before posting it on your social media? Or are you really using these action cameras? Are they usable for some Netflix series? Let me know that in the comment section below. Because let's be honest, shooting in log is not as simple as we expect it to be. I made a video about that. You can go check it here. I'll put the link here so you can go check it. But mainly when shooting in log, to get the most out of your camera, you have to shoot in manual white balance and manual exposure. And let me know if you've been shooting in log when riding your bike in manual exposure. That's somehow very hard to achieve for the consumers. If you are a professional filmmaker, you might be able to do it, but for consumers, these cameras are for consumers. This is something very hard. Imagine you shot in automatic exposure but in log profile, and then on post-processing you have to address every single frame on its own. You have to add different LUTs, you have to change the LUT every single frame or every single scene, and that's really a time consuming that you don't want to pass into it. You don't want to lose your time into it. You'd rather go outside, enjoy the action, enjoy the moment, and record some footages rather than sitting on your computer to color grade frame by frame your footages. And here's why: more than 25% of the time using an action camera, you will prefer using it in automatic exposure, automatic white balance, and in normal color profile and not in log color profile, because now the cameras have great color science, so you can get great image quality directly out of the camera without post-processing and without adding LUTs and losing lots of time in post-processing on your computer. And add to that, shooting in 10-bit requires lots of storage and lots of bitrate to be able to transfer the files, the information in a quick way to your memory card. And that comes here, the bitrate values. And we can see clearly that on the DJI Action 5 Pro, the new camera from DJI, on the first firmware or the basic firmware that we have for the camera, we have a huge issue with the bitrates. We have 10-bit recording with low bitrate files. That means that we don't have the highest resolution or the highest quality possible of this camera. The footages are not so good, and that's a big problem. That's why shooting, for example, in a lower color depth profile such as the 8-bit with the same bitrate will lead to a better image quality, because we have less information to transfer from your sensor to your memory card. So which one you prefer having? Shooting in 10-bit color profile, having huge files, draining your battery faster, overheating your camera, losing time on post-processing, especially if you're shooting in log, or shooting 8-bit color profile, being able to edit the files quickly, transfer them quickly, post them quickly, and post more files to your community, to your audience, whether on YouTube or on all the other platforms. For me, the answer is quite easy. Having good 8-bit with, well, something acceptable in bitrate is more than enough, especially if we are posting our footages, our clips on YouTube and the other platforms, because mostly 95 or more % of the time people will watch this content, will consume this content on smartphones with small screens. So we don't need to shoot in a bigger quality camera or in a bigger quality, better quality action camera sensor, bitrate, and color depth. This is my opinion. That's it for today's video. That was my opinion about this topic. I would like to know yours in the comment section below, because I've been seeing lots of comments about 8-bit, 10-bit color profiles on my last videos, and I think this is literally a marketing technique from the companies. They are branding their cameras with 10-bit, with a higher resolution, etc., in order just to let you go consume or let you just get both of them to compare them or so on. I remember back in the days when I had my Nikon. It has, I think, 12 megapixels. It was an APS-C camera, and by that time we had smartphones with 50 megapixel on their tiny little sensors, and we saw that the price of these smartphones are getting higher and higher every year, knowing that it's only a marketing campaign, because consumers will think that having a 50 megapixel camera or smartphone is better than an APS-C Nikon 12 megapixel. Thank you for watching. See you on another video. Ciao for now.